I am still at this point, like, I'm pretty frustrated. I mean, um, with there was not really a point where I felt like it wouldn't have been a huge gamble to try to end it. And after, I came from the early game so far ahead, that shouldn't be the case. I mean, I know I've taken gambles before, fallen behind against a Toss or Terran, and they just steamroll you, no questions. I mean, apart from running a lot of Marines into Banelings or just having their army on move command, there's not really too many ways you can come back. So, I mean, he has control of the towers. He waited for this to finish. And even though being so spread does thin him out and make him weaker, tanks have like such huge range that they'll be shooting over here when they're down here anyway. So, and obviously Zerg units being all short ranged, they're gonna have to cross that distance to hit the tanks. So I wasn't interested in, any of that funny business. Not gonna try to fight him. Just gonna make sure, basically, that I stay alive. I know he's on a max of 4 bases at this point, so here he's again another drop, which is annoying because spine crawlers are not great against this kind of harassment. But again, not moving the drones, didn't really care. Switching back to the production tab, he's going crazy with his upgrades. Obviously, I'm still pushing with my melee and carapace. Really helps for the broodlings, really helps for the ultralists. I used to try to end games on mutiling Baneling, and at this point, you definitely cannot do that. It's way too easy to lose your whole army. So, I'm ready to start making my broodlords. I'm just going to throw these roaches away and basically try to pick off any tanks that I can. And actually pulling back there before I killed the second tank, so. Still making corruptors, making the broodlords, getting the upgrades. And the key here is to try to pick them apart. I need to do some drops, force his marines to come back. That'll make my broodlords much more effective. And this time, I was intent. There we go. On keeping up with the upgrades. Usually, my broodlords sit at 0-1 or 0-1 for the whole game, or 0-0 even. But I had the money, so definitely going to try to get as much out of them as I could. And getting these infestors out, I think I was even going for, I don't know where I put my infestation pit, there it is. Would like to see myself get that neuroparasite upgrade. Because it is useful. Stealing Thors to kill Vikings can really, really help. And as you can see, she's still taking down these expansions. I put them up just because I can't spend this money anyways. So on the off chance that he lets this live, I'll be able to utilize that. So I'm just going to keep throwing them down until they finally do live. Seeing he threw down another expansion. You don't want to keep making mutas because as good as mutas are at harassment, if you have 40 or 50 where they're to the point where they're basically your whole army, you're probably going to lose. So now I am definitely ready. I'm going to toss these roaches away. I don't have to actually kill anything. Might get this ghost. And they do get a ghost. That was huge. Definitely worth it. Every ghost is worth a lot more than 5 roaches at this point in the game. So I did have a little drop here planned. I know I'm safe. I don't really want to move through this. And if I do, I want to make sure that he's as distracted and basically far away as possible. So I'm just going to try to be annoying, killing. You might get an orbital, you might get a bunch of supply depots, his add-ons, anything really that you can kill is good. So Zerglings are like amazing at killing production facilities as long as they're left alone. So I know with this here, good amount, he still can't push in on me. And we're not killing too much. He did pull his army back relatively quickly. Zerglings look like they're just going to weaken a bunch of stuff. So I did take my mutas to try to focus down some depots. And as you can see, he's still just doing little bits to the expansion. Definitely worth it for me forcing him to put down. Like, the lings at this point are basically free. And you can see I have 3 tabs, two tabs and a little bit more of just larvae sitting around, so not concerned about my macro slipping. At this point I really should be able to just roll him because I literally am making the strongest Zerg units and about as many of them as I want. Looking at the income tab, my drone count isn't even high. I'm at 70 drones, so that's 130 supply, that's all army. Yeah, looking at the units. 10 broodlords, 9 infestors, 6 corruptors, some mutas, these lings and banelings just to prevent any marines from running straight in. 3-3 marines will tear up your brood lords if you're not careful. But this is a good number. Still going for those upgrades. Should be going for them at least.
Our forces are under attack.
Like, this has been a long game, so I really need this win just to boost morale. And finally, my main is mined out, so I'm going to start mining this expansion at the same time that I'm ready to start pushing down his little contain here. I'm just going to throw down spines like mad, because really I want this expansion for the gas. He's got the Viking, but I've got 13 corruptors to his 7 Vikings, and corruptors, especially with these upgrades, going to do a fair job against these Vikings. Because he was annoying and threw turrets down everywhere. I do have to be careful of where I fly. Keeping the infestors out of range because I know he's got ghosts. Trying to keep them spread out. They are at max energy, so it's going to take a lot of EMPs to empty this out. But still got to play carefully. This is not good. He's basically has every base on his side of the map, and I still am missing one of mine. I am breaking the contain now, and as you can see, my drone count is pretty low, and I'm staying basically maxed. This is more army than it should be, just because of how long I was sitting around with all that money. Finally pushing him out, getting out of my face. I'm gonna give myself some breathing room. Getting a lot of free tank kills. And here I decide to kind of pull back, regroup. A lot of my guys are injured. I've got 5 queens and a lot of energy. Like, they've been injecting, but you know, there's a lot of larvae sitting around, so not too big of a deal. One of them's even out here. Looking at the production tab, like, I'm going hard for my Ultralist now. I didn't even notice I had some corruptors back there. And if you notice, I haven't got a single fungal growth off on his Vikings. He did a really good job of microing them back. But as long as I'm pushing him back onto his side of the map, that's good enough for me. He's doing a really good job. I did decide to use up all my lings and banelings. Actually just going to try to take out this planetary perfect amount. And that's because at this point, I just need to try to keep down his money, because I'm ready to just start throwing everything that the Zerg race offers at him. I mean, really the only unit I think I haven't used so far is the Hydra, and there's obvious reasons why that's not gonna happen. So yep, I'm still staying maxed. My income tab, 63 harvesters. My income is not that great, but my gas income is amazing. And once again, look at the money, you can see why. So I've got ultras. I'm really trying to make this difficult on him. I know he's got a lot of Vikings, but I still don't want to suicide this army, because if I do have to remax on something, there is still a chance that he snipes a base or two and I'm in trouble. So moving these infestors forward. I've seen in some play where you kind of throw some infested Terrans underneath their marines and then their tanks blow everything up. So I know there's gonna be turrets around here somewhere, and getting a little bit greedy, moving just into range. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, you gotta throw everything you have, because you're gonna die. 2 infestors down, not doing too much damage. And I prefer to use this army as like a slow pushing army. I don't use the Ultralists in combination too much with the Broodlords. Just because in the heat of that battle, Ultralists they don't have the best AI, and Broodlords are really fragile, so if your attention isn't fully centered on your Broodlords or your Ultralists, you can lose one. Look at these Vikings. That is a lot of Vikings. Still trying to push back, staying out of the tank fire. Getting this base back up. And you can see my Broodlord count is not super high, but they're still going to do a good job. They have nice upgrades. course his tank's gonna do some pretty good damage. So he's killed basically all my corruptors, and I've just been remaxing on Ultralisk. So there goes an EMP, only taking down half the energy of these infestors because they've been sitting around forever. Always a good idea to keep remaking some infestors. So you always want to have some sitting around, and there I go remaking them. At this point, I'm ready for my fatal tech switch. I know we still got some Vikings around, and they are not going to do anything against these Ultralisks. But you don't want to force yourself into that position because Ultralisks are, like I said, they don't have the best AI. So it's quite hard to finish a game just because he knows that the AI is terrible. Look at him, he's just throwing buildings up everywhere to get in their way, and they will die to things that should not be able to kill them. So at this point, I'm maxed again. I'm only 60 food. This is 140, almost 140 of pure army. Loading up for another drop, but I mean, he should be dead right now. I still can't believe that he's held on for this long after giving away such a huge lead. Or sorry, giving up a huge lead in the beginning. So I have 13 Ultralisks and the Zergling upgrade that no one uses, the Andro Glands, in production. Because Zerglings are amazing at taking down buildings. He still thinks which is not, obviously. So as you can see, all of these empty bunkers and crap just gonna get in my Ultralisk way. So I'm just gonna walk in here, and first thing that I want to do is start to neural parasite these tanks. I want to not just to do damage to him, but to reduce the damage my Ultralisks are taking. I guess I didn't expect this many turrets, so that drop did nothing. The Ultras are doing a good job. I lost a lot of them. Looking at the production tab, remaking 11 Ultras and 14 Zerglings all at the same time. Got a lot of supply tied up in Vikings, and like I am still struggling to kill him. This is just absurd, is basically the only word I can think of. My worker count is falling. I'm now at 59 workers, and I am still maxed. This is now 140, 41 food. And look at this, one Ultralisk, two, there's 5 Ultras here. He's got a couple Marauders and Marines, and I'm still having trouble getting in here. There's a tank popping out, and at this point I was just like, okay, that's enough. I need to get out of here, because running into this small little choke, not good. I pulled them out. His ramps, right up to the late game ramps, are just there to screw Zerg over, and producing a lot of Zerglings, still getting those infestors, tons of Ultras still being made. And my money is still so high just because of how much I banked. I mean, he's got, I don't know, 30 supply floating here of basically units that are useless against speedlings. And, you know, these are max upgrading speedlings and Ultralisks. Like, 140 supply of them. Still having a tough time killing. So instead of being persistent, 2 ways to kill the Terran. Go in and kill his production facilities, or shut down all of his extra bases. As you can see, he is starting to run out of money. So I realized I wasn't going to get into the production facilities. I'm just going to go straight for his money. So getting these Ultras in, trying to kill that planetary. Going to swing a couple of these around once they finally decide to cooperate. Going for another planetary here. I'm really shutting him down on bases. He's forced to land his Vikings, and still got a couple backup infestors here, because you always want to have another push ready to go. So just running straight in here. And look at this, he spent all of his money on orbitals. He was preparing for a mass mule endgame, basically. And a little bit more rage from him. I mean, I really have no idea how he can feel that way. You can see how much crap I had to throw at him to take him down, and still, after he gave away that huge lead, definitely feel a lot better after that game. So if you're ever feeling down, you want to get yourself a nice cup of Terran tears. They will definitely cheer you up. Until next time, remember to always GG your games. Unless you lose, then complain about imbalance. See you later.